So guys, Review 23 here, back again with another video, and this time we're continuing a series of unfortunate events, which is titled The Austere Academy. And yeah, you already know. Before we get into the my thoughts on the story, let's get into the story itself. So the story is about the three children, the Baudelaires, go to Proof Rock Prep, which is a boarding school. They meet Vice Principal Nero, and Vice Principal Nero is not that great in the violin, and also he forces the Baudelaires to live in a shack full of crabs. They meet Carmelita, who is very rotten and not that very nice of a person, and they also meet the Quagmires, who are very nice and not rotten. The Quagmires shares their lives to the Baudelaires, and they eventually tell them how their parents died, which was the same situation the Baudelaires' parents died, and they eventually get along with each other. One day, a new coach comes in, which his name is Coach Genghis, and the Baudelaires recognize that Coach Genghis is Count Olaf in disguise once again. Coach Genghis, aka Count Olaf, makes the Baudelaires run laps all night, which eventually makes the Baudelaires not stay focused in their classes. It eventually catches the vice principal's attention, and the vice principal says to the Baudelaires that if they do not pass their classes or make up their grades, they will have to go with Coach Genghis to be homeschooled. And the Quagmires want to help the Baudelaires so much, so the Baudelaires study while the Quagmires took their place in running laps. The next day, the big exam arrives, and the Baudelaires realize that the Quagmires are nowhere to be found. Mr. Poe shows up to check on the Baudelaires, and in the meantime, the Baudelaires are doing their hard work, and it seems to be going well, until later on when things got out of hand and eventually led to Count Olaf's disguise. Well, it eventually led to Count Olaf, it eventually leads Count Olaf to reveal that he's not Coach Genghis, he's really Count Olaf. And Mr. Poe realizes this, and the Baudelaires are finally happy that Count Olaf's disguise was revealed. So that eventually led to the escape of Count Olaf once again, with the Quagmires with him, and the Baudelaires are off to their next destination. So, my thoughts on the book, it was good for the most part. It wasn't that great as the last four books. The reason is that the characters in here are more annoying and not that great of characters. Vice Principal Nero was a boring character. Carmelita was annoying. And just the characters in here weren't that very great as the last characters we've seen in the first four books. And I didn't really enjoy Count Olaf's disguise in this book that much. Now, my positives are that I really enjoyed the relationship between the Baudelaires and the Quagmires. I really like how the Quagmires wanting to help the Baudelaires, and I really enjoy how more deep the Baudelaires characters go into in this story. And I'm pretty sure it's going to get very, very deep as we continue to this series. But yeah, and I just really like how the way the Baudelaires use their minds and, trying to think, what way, what how what way will we go and how will it work? And I really enjoyed that. And overall, this book was pretty good. However, I did not enjoy it as the last four books, but overall, it was still a pretty good story. And I do kind of like the way it was placed in the boarding school and also not. But the reason why is because I didn't feel like a boarding school was that great of the place for the next book to be set up. But that's my other negative. But my other positive is that there are some great moments in this story, and it how almost everything in it builds up to the ending. That's my other positive in this book. But overall, it's still a pretty good story. I enjoyed it, but I wish it could have been way better. But overall, if I had to rate the Austere Academy, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's still a really good story, and I did enjoy it, but I just wish it could have built up more. But yeah, 7 out of 10. But anyways, what are you guys' thoughts on the Austere Academy? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you agree with my opinion? Let me know down in the comments below. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.